What's up, everybody? Welcome to Among the Fence. My name is Aaron. Today we're checking out the new album Men by the post-hardcore band Eidola. They formed in 2011 and quickly gained popularity in the hardcore punk scene in Salt Lake City thanks to their math rock, post-rock, and their metalcore influences. They dropped their debut album, The Great Glass Elephant, in 2012, which helped them get their name out there, but they didn't really hit their stride until they released their second album, Degenerate Terra, in 2015, which a lot of fans consider to be their best LP. The second time around, they really cleaned up their sound, and their overall songwriting was just absolutely top tier. And dare I say that lightning struck twice when they released their third album, To Listen to Speak, which is my personal favorite album from this band, and also a lot of people argue that this is their best album as well. They went a little bit more swancore in 2021 when they released The Architect, but I still absolutely love this album. It's got some fantastic songs. I would even say that Empty Garden is one of the best songs that they've ever written, but I feel like some fans would probably argue that Gothica is actually the best song that they've ever written off of their previous album, Eviscerate. Eviscerate explores more of their proggy ideas, and I gotta say they do it absolutely brilliantly. And if you go through their history like this, you basically see that they don't have any bad releases, which makes me very excited for this fifth album, Men. The first single that they gave us, The Faustian Spirit, this song is just, it's something else. Vocalist Andrew Wells takes a stand against self-doubt and the critics while the music shows their ability to write really funky, groovy passages. It just sounds so good. It's almost the opposite of what we got on Eviscerate, which was really heavy, accented by more calm moments. The chorus in this song is wild with some really cool scale runs and upbeat drums, while the verses are really just super smooth. The aggression that we're used to hearing throughout whole albums doesn't really come in until the bridge, and it basically just punches you right in the face. Then they released the next single, Prodigy. And this one, I gotta say, wasn't received quite as well. It's closer to something that Bill Murray would release, which isn't necessarily an insult, but it's not something that you would expect from this band. It's mostly just a catchy pop song, something that you would hear on the radio very easily. It's just, it just doesn't really fit in. I gotta say, it turned a lot of fans off. It does come in after the opening track, Brahmin, the Garden of Eden. It's a theatrical opener that mirrors Eviscerate's closing track, and it follows the same kind of concept. It definitely helps to hear Prodigy come after this opening track, at least story-wise. It doesn't really pick back up, though, until we get to the song Emperor of Light, where it sees the story of the architect who starts forming life in the image of God, which is pretty cool. It's still a pretty tame song, though, with subtle melodies and a thick bass line. The outro is the only powerful part of this song, musically and lyrically. And then we have the song My Father's House, which brings an even funkier bass line to the party. The chorus has a chiming guitar riff and a really strong vocal performance. Verse 2 is a little weird with its whispered vocals. Admittedly, I didn't really care for it all that much. And then we have Kaleidoscope, which has a crazy uncomfortable verse. The only way to describe it is it's just uncomfortable. It's a little eerie. The chorus hits hard, though, because of it. It makes the hook just that much better, along with the heavy bridge with its very passionate lyrics. I feel like Kaleidoscope is one of the best songs on this record easily. A Pearl in a Dead Sea almost has like a party vibe to it thanks to the drums. It features Brent Walsh from I the Mighty, and it is great to hear his vocals in verse 2. It matches up so well with the groove. However, I did struggle to really connect with this song. It doesn't really bring anything to the surface musically or even in the story, and honestly, I found myself kind of daydreaming while listening to this song every single time I did during this review. A lot of times the song would be over and it would just go on to the next song, and I wouldn't even really realize it. However, it does get better with the next song, Blood in the Water. The chorus does get stuck in your head, but to me, in this song, the verses were just kind of meh. The bridge in the song is just musically better. However, the energy dies down when they go into the chorus before the outro, and the outro is good. It's basically just a breakdown. And the only reason why it's good is because it brings the heat up. But other than that, the heaviness kind of feels out of place at this point. It's almost like they didn't really know how to make this song more exciting and entertaining. So they just kind of, let's throw a breakdown at the end of it. Then we have the Renaissance, which is a slow, gentle piano song with vocals that are they just lull you away. And honestly, I enjoyed this one. It's a very passionate love song. It took me a while really get into it. With the multiple listens, I did eventually start to like it, and it doesn't need to always be heavy. That's not my complaint, and this is a good example of that. It sounds so freaking good. They ease you back into it with what it means to be alone. It has more party vibes, and this time the synth seems to take a stronger role in this song. Unfortunately, this is another one that I just ended up daydreaming. It kind of just passed me by each time. Restore Me is pretty good thanks to the savior that is the chorus in the song, and it also features JT in verse 2 from the After Hours, and he sounds so freaking good, especially with the music that's really smooth. Unfortunately, this song just feels really formulaic at this point. They're not really bringing any new ideas or flexing their creative muscles like we're really used to hearing. Then we have the Godhead Final Temple, which starts out really promising with a strong intro. The drums absolutely steal the show for me in this song, especially in the chorus, and the contrast between the heavy growls and the really colorful melodies is absolutely phenomenal. The bridge is probably the heaviest moment on this entire album, and it would have been so good if they kept that energy and that passion and that drive and fire going all the way through the chorus, but unfortunately it kind of dies and fizzles out. It's still a good listen though. I'm not really complaining. I just feel like it would have been better to just do that, I guess. Then we have the closing track, Revelation, the infinite beauty of oneness, which to me is a perfect conclusion for this album. The story kind of reminds me of Thank You Scientists. I can't remember the name of the song. I think it's My Feigned Disappearing Act, which is also an absolutely brilliant song. The heavy post-chorus almost feels out of place though, admittedly. It's a really good ending, but unfortunately it's kind of forgettable. I don't know, every time I would listen to it, like the whole back half of this album, it just kind of fizzles out after it has a very exciting like first section of it. Honestly, I was expecting to like this album so much more. A lot of people are going to complain that they went soft, but my main issue is that I feel like they just kind of phoned it in. You could go soft, but also still be really creative. They focused a little bit too much on adding pop influences into their music and having really catchy sing-along kind of choruses and verses while also maintaining the heaviness. But the heaviness was too few and far in between to the point to where it just made it feel like it was just awkward. It just didn't fit into the songs. Like you would have a really cool catchy groove and then all of a sudden there's this heavy breakdown and it didn't flow into it well. And then when it came out of it, it just went right back into being poppy again. And it almost feels like they didn't really have a direction that they were really focused in going, and they just tried to do two things at once without really knowing how to mesh it together. And for me, that really killed the atmosphere and the energy. And I felt like I just feel like it's equal parts good and full of passion and also kind of boring. And I feel like they would have been better if they would have just stuck to just one thing. Just be really poppy and have cool melodies and fancy guitar work and just leave the heavy stuff out, or just make it a lot heavier. That way it just blends it together a little bit more. I got to give Mend by Eidola a 5.8 out of 10. But I want to hear what you guys think. I have a feeling that I don't know, it's probably going to be pretty polarizing. People are either going to really hate this review or they might end up agreeing with it. Leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Men, what you would rate it, what your favorite song is. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. It helps out so much with YouTube's algorithm. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my future reviews or New Music Friday, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Doing any of those things helps me out tremendously. And I just thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me sit here and talk about music. And I hope you have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time.